Hello everybody, it's Connie with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys could join me for a new simple stamping video. Today's video is actually a flashcard 2.0 card. You guys are going to love this one. One thing I really want to emphasize in my simple stamping series are things for my brand new beginners. So I've got a very simple version of the card where you don't have to have a lot of supplies. But if you have just a little bit, just a few more supplies, I want to show you a little way that you can step it up. I want you to have options when it comes to simple stamping. I think today's flashcard just nails it. So, are you ready to get started? Let's go. Let's go over some of the different color combinations that you can choose to create this monochromatic card. So, one option is Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape, Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight and Crushed Curry, Grapefruit Grove and Calypso Coral, Powder Pink and Blushing Bride, So Saffron and Daffodil Delight, and Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay. Guys, that's just what I was able to pull for today. There are a lot of different options. Just have some fun with your colors. But for today's video, I'm going to use Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. Now, my Highland Heather is cut 4 1/4 inch by 11 inches, and then I've scored it at 5 1/2 inches, so it's going to fit in one of our medium-sized envelopes. My flashcard 2.0 pieces, I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape. That is cut 2 1/8 inch by 5 1/2 inches. My Whisper White is cut 2 inches by 5 3/8 inch. And I chose Friendly Expressions for my stamp set today. And guys, there's 5 different ones that we can choose from. And all of these are going to work, and they're all going to be just a little bit different. Let me show you what I mean. So this card here, I did a congratulations to you. The direction of where I cut is all based on the size of my sentiment. So let me use a different sentiment for my next card. So for this one, I'm going to do a thanks for all you do. Now I'm going to bring in a Gorgeous Grape ink pad. So you want your ink pad to match that flashcard 2.0 piece, the darker color. We'll ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it here in the upper left-hand corner of my Whisper White. I'm now going to bring in my Stampin' Trimmer, and where you cut is really based on where your sentiment landed. So we just want to kind of line things up, center things up as best we can, and give that a cut. I'm going to save this because I'm going to use that on my flowers. Now this area here, we want to cut it off as well, or we're just going to kind of eyeball it. It's not an exact measurement, and every one of the sentiments will be different. There we go. That's going to give me that nice clean line I want to go for. Now, you know I like to give you options here at Simply Simple Stamping. So we do need to cut. Let me bring in my original here. You notice I just cut a strip. But if you want to step it up a notch, let me show you what we're going to do. You can leave it plain, but if you want to stamp it and take it up a notch, let me show you how I did this here. I'm going to bring in my Bloom by Bloom stamp set. I've also got some of my grid paper because I am going to do some stamping off. I'm going to take that little flower. I want to stamp it off and stamp it on my cardstock. And we're just going to repeat that. You see, it kind of gives just a lighter tone. And so now I'm going to take this little tiny flower, we're not going to stamp off, and we'll go right inside. I wanted to fill in a little bit, and we have some of these just little clusters of dots. And so I'm just going to use that just as a filler. And you notice it really does give it a nice look and gives us more of that burst of the Gorgeous Grape. Let's bring in our Stampin' Trimmer, and we are going to trim that down to 1 1/2 inches. And now we can come in and add this to the front of our card. We're going to add both of these strips. We're going to start with the largest one right here over to the left side. I'm going to leave just a little bit of my cardstock showing, and then I can add my next piece. We'll go right next to it again, just leaving a little strip. We now have our sentiment and that little strip. I'm going to flip these over. We're going to add Stampin' Dimensionals. So I've added about 5 here and 3 here. We can peel off the backings and we can add them to our card. And it's just amazing how different this looks from my original, mainly because the sentiment is shorter. Now, what about these flowers? Let me tell you how I did those. The stamp set Bloom by Bloom actually also comes as a bundle. And in that bundle are 4 punches. I love these. We've got 3 flowers and then we have little inserts for the flowers. This is a really fun little bundle. Let's use that flower that worked. It really matched the stamping that I did. And there are several different ways we can ink this up. I'm going to use my gorgeous grape ink pad again. Again, remember, this is simple stamping. I only step it up trying to show you different things that you might have. I'm using a sponge dauber. You might have the Stampin' Sponges, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to need a little bit of that off of there. You can ink it up with a sponge dauber. We could use a Stampin' Sponge. Like I said, it's what you have available. I'm going to show you one more option, and boy, it's a bold one. Are you ready? We could just tap that directly on an ink pad. Don't get inky like I just did, but you can see we can get a nice bold color going that direction. So there you go, 2 different versions. One's darker, one's lighter, but we're gonna come in with the punch and I'm gonna say about 5. So we don't need a lot, but remember you have some extra here. You could always punch some extras for the inside. So there you go, light or dark. Let me go ahead and show you on my original, I did light ones. So how about for this one, we'd use the darker ones. This is one of my favorite little tricks. I love to give these flowers dimension. Use whatever tools you have handy. You could use your stylus tool, but I just take it and press into that flower. And do you see how it gives it that nice dimension? I've also been known to grab a pen, make sure it's closed, and give it a press. Just whatever you have handy that you can give those little flowers a nice press. So I just like to kind of play and get a feel for where I want these flowers to go. I do like the little cluster of 3 and then just scatter a couple of them. And you know what? If I needed one more, I have plenty here to get one more. The amount of flowers you're going to have, like I said, is going to be determined on how much you had left over. So on my congratulations, I think I was only able to get 5 or 6. You know, I'm gonna take that back. I obviously did get more because I see I put some there on the inside. So just get creative, stay close when you punch and you can do it. All right, we're going to add our flowers with mini glue dots. I'm going to press all my flowers onto the glue dots. You can also use your multi-purpose glue and add just dots of glue and add them that way, whatever makes you happy. You can see. Just got creative with where those go. Now, I felt like they needed a little something. On this card, I used our basic jewel rhinestones. Remember, these are adhesive backed, but again, I wanted to show you options. Let's come in with the pearls. I like to use my take your pick tool, makes it very easy to pick them up. But this one has a little less bling. Maybe it's a little bit, just a little more elegant, I guess, with pearls over the rhinestones, although I am a bling girl. And what I do love about adding a product like this, they're very inexpensive. You get a lot. And you can see I'm only having to use 6 of them on my card. So there you go. We have 2 different versions of the card. Like I said, guys, I really like to give you lots of options depending on where you are in your stamping. If you're just getting started, let me tell you, this is a great card because we just used a little bit of cardstock and 1 stamp set, 1 ink pad. That's great, right? Adding that punch, totally optional. We could have left those flowers off and had a really nice, clean and simple card. Now, I did want to show those of you that want to step it up just a little bit, or even for my beginner stampers who want to invest in that bundle, the stamp set and the punch, you can see it takes it up quite a bit. But this stamp set is going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. You've got a lot of different sentiments here. That's a stamp set that's going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. fabulous cards, fabulous layout. I love clean and simple. And guys, I gotta tell you, there's just something about that little extra strip right there. I don't know, it just takes it up a notch. Really, really impressed with how these cards turned out. I hope you did too. Now, if you'd like more information about the cards, here's what you can do. Head over to simplysimplestamping.com. Look for the April 13th, 2019 blog post. That's where I'll have all the details. And if you need to order any of the supplies you might need to create the card, you can just order it right there. You're going to see a complete supply list with pictures. Click a pick. It's going to take you right to my online store and you can add the items that you need. Hey, I love flashcards too. And if you like the idea of creating great flashcards, but maybe cutting's not your thing, you can also order flashcards to go. This is where I have everything cut. Your cardstock is scored. You're going to have the pieces for flashcards and flashcards 2.0, plus envelopes, everything that you need so that you can create 40 cards in a flash. It's such a fun way to get to the fun part, the stamping part, without having to do all that pesky cutting, right? You can find flashcards to go over at simplysimplestamping.com. Just look up there in the blue menu bar for flashcards and you'll see flashcards to go right there. Okay, my friends, thank you again so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's cards. Hope you can spend some time this week doing some stamping. A little stamp therapy is good for all of us, right? All right, have a great one, my friends, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.